The anime begins with Tomoya, our protagonist, entering his new house after his father has remarried to start his life with his stepmother and her precious daughter. Opening the door to her room, he finds her undressing, but luckily she was only taking off her shirt. It was just time for lunch, so he went to tell her to come down. Tomoya is not happy with the situation, as it is impossible for him to conceive a new family. However, his older stepsister does not think the same as him, as she takes every opportunity to take pictures of him while he is unaware. Her mother sees her and tells her that she cannot go around the house taking pictures of her new brother, which makes Ichika sad. But she still has intentions of getting closer to him, which is why she tells him that she will move to live in his room, even though she has her own. Tomoya thinks it's a terrible idea and is also strange, so he keeps dragging her out of her room whenever he comes in, even when she climbs onto the balcony. Before taking her out of the room, Tomoya grabs her by the hand and lifts her up, asking her why she's doing such a crazy thing. All Ichika answers is that she loves him. This leaves our protagonist thinking. Starting the week, Tomoya goes to class with his best friend, Mitsuru. But something strange happens as Tomoya's stepsister follows them from a distance. His friend doesn't notice and asks him all kinds of questions about his new sister along the way, but Tomoya keeps an eye on her. In the end, because she's not from the institution, some guards took her out of the school, but this didn't stop her. When Tomoya arrived inside the institution, he saw the most beautiful girl in his class, Fujisaki. He considers her to be like an angel, like a delicate rose, but inside she only wants to attract the attention of the boys and then break their hearts. When it's halfway through the day, Ichika appears to Tomoya through the window of his class and makes all the attention of the boys fall on her, making Fujisaki feel jealous when she loses her crushes, forcing Tomoya to immediately take her out of school. When he gets home, he insults her because of the embarrassment she made him go through. However, he thinks back in his room, considering his sister's effort to bring him food because she was worried about him. After Ichika and Tomoya's relationship matured a bit, she invites her friends over to make them some food and meet her new brother. When our protagonist hears that her friends are coming, he gets nervous, thinking that they will be just as annoying as she is. However, upon meeting them, he is glad that they are normal. They start getting to know each other at the dining table, where Marina, his sister's blonde, gorgeous, and well-endowed friend, shows up. Tomoya stares at her brand new bumpers, causing Ichika to hit her when he realizes that she is fooling around with his brother. He also meets the active and crazy blue-haired Ruri, who says that Tomoya is so adorable that if he were her brother, she would have already put him in a wrestling match. These kinds of events make Tomoya freak out and go to his friend's house. Ichika gets upset when her friends tell her that she must have lied and heads to his girlfriend's house, but they manage to restrain her before she runs off to chase him. When Tomoya enters Mitsuru's house, he asks her what she's doing there, considering that he saw those hotties in his house through his window. He tells her to let him stay there until they leave, with the promise that one day he would introduce them to her, making her declare her eternal loyalty if she kept her promise. Tomoya is on his way out of school when his sister suddenly calls him to find out if he is being bullied when the best boy with the best average in his school, Hayasaka, appears, who bumps into him after not realizing that he was on his phone. Both have a rivalry, but this is more noticeable on Hayasaka's part, who is disgusted by Tomoya's hair. When he is about to insult him, Mitsuru appears and hits him, telling him that he should not bully others. The three of them start arguing, and Mitsuru says that a person like Hayasaka will never have a girlfriend and that he is only jealous because Tomoya has a sister who cares about him. Hayasaka declares that he does not care about having a girlfriend, since women are simply a waste of time. In addition, it is evident that young girls are attracted to someone as smart as him. However, Hayasaka does not want anything to do with him. Due to this conversation and Mitsuru's teasing, a fight breaks out outside the school between Tomoya and Hayasaka, but Ichika arrives just in time with Ruri to stop the fight. It turns out that Hayasaka is Ruri's younger brother, which makes everyone shocked. Ruri forced her brother to apologize to Tomoya. When the heat wave hits, Tomoya walks home wondering if the heat could affect his sister's mood or not. He thinks it might not, until he approaches her house and notices her lying on the floor. His stepmother assures him that she doesn't get along well with the heat, which is why it's logical that she fainted. However, he suddenly gets up when she suggests they go to the pool. Suddenly, Mitsuru comes out and takes Tomoya by the hand, happy to see Ichika's friends in swimsuits. They all meet at the public pool, looking beautiful and cooling off with Tomoya and Mitsuru, until in the distance they see the unattainable girl of the class, Fujisaki. All the young men are around her, dazzled by her beauty, until they notice that Tomoya is with three beautiful young women, leaving Fujisaki in oblivion. She is saddened by losing to those girls, giving us a flashback to her childhood, where she developed the fear of not being wanted by any boy. At that moment, Tomoya arrives and suggests that she join him in the pool, but Ichika doesn't like the idea, who jumps into the water with them, assuring that he won't let them be alone. Fujisaki insults Tomoya and tells him that he is a nuisance, but then retracts it. Tomoya doesn't react badly, as he understands why he said it and only apologizes for his sister's behavior. From then on, Fujisaki looks at Tomoya with different eyes. When Tomoya and Ichika are shopping, they come across a rather handsome young man named Fuji. He speaks English very well, so he asks them if any of them understand the language, to which Ichika continues the conversation by assuring him that she doesn't master it, but she can help him with whatever he needs. Tomoya, at this moment, finally feels some appreciation for his new sister. Suddenly, Marina appears, who is happy that they finally meet her brother. Everyone is surprised that someone so beautiful is her brother, but deep down it wasn't that much of a surprise, since with her melons it was expected that she was not of Japanese descent. Tomoya discovers that Marina and Fuji are Russian. Fuji, from the first minute, is fascinated by Ichika, asking her if she would like to go out with him, but she flatly refuses and tells him that he is not Tomoya. However, Fuji continues to insist, since she looks like an anime character with whom he is deeply in love. Tomoya, without a second thought, is disappointed that he is so handsome and a top-level otaku at the same time. Christmas is finally here and everyone is excited, especially when it comes to Ichika, who has decided that this year she will make socks for everyone and then climb up through Tomoya's window like in the first episode dressed as Santa Claus to deliver them. He tells her not to go to extremes, but she is so weird that he expects anything from her. When she goes to school the next day, she runs into Mitsuru and Hayasaka, who has a bruise on her cheek. When she asks him what happened, he tells her that it was his sister, which is not unusual coming from Ruri. After they have been talking for a while, we see Fujisaki approach Tomoya from behind to greet him. She treats him very well now, and it is noticeable that she treats him differently than the other young people. Some boys approach her and ask her if she has plans for Christmas, to which she answers yes, although she doesn't have any. She is just eager for the girls in her class to stop hating her so she can share with her. After school, Tomoya goes to a store and buys a gift. Ichika sees it from afar and jealously accepts it as a gift for Fujisaki. When Tomoya returns home, his gift falls and is run over by a bicycle. Seeing this, his sister rushes to it without thinking, but then hands it to him with a sour face. Instead of taking it, Tomoya says that he was hoping to save it for Christmas, but since it's there, it's better to give it to him. Ichika is overjoyed to realize that the gift was never meant for Fujisaki. After all the crazy situations that Tomoya has experienced as Ichika's brother, the fruits of their relationship are seen. After the new year arrives, all the girls dress in their kimono to go to the town festival. Here Tomoya meets up with Mitsuru and Hayasaka, who, despite still having a bit of rivalry, by order of Ruri have put aside the fights to live more as a family. While they are talking, Fujisaki comes from behind and greets Tomoya, who is happy to see her, but is soon repelled by the look of his sister. After walking for a while, they take the opportunity to make some wishes. Tomoya opens his heart and asks God to get along better with Fujisaki this new year, while his sister, in addition to her heart, opens her mouth to shout to the four winds that she wants to dedicate her whole life to Tomoya, causing him to push her away from the area so as not to continue being embarrassed. When the situation calmed down, Tomoya and Hayasaka went off to talk when they see a boy who lost his wish on a tree, causing Hayasaka to climb up to give it to him. Noticing this gesture of kindness, Tomoya assures him that he did not expect him to do something like that, causing them to burst out laughing. From afar, his sisters watch them proudly, thankful that they are becoming friends. Valentine's Day is coming up and Ichika's plans include giving her stepbrother a huge heart-shaped chocolate, so she asks him if he's ever been given one of those, to which he says no. She takes this opportunity to do something special for him, although at first she wanted to cover her body in chocolate and give it to him, but Ruri advised her not to. It would be more of a treat than a scare. That same day, the three friends met at Ruri's house to make homemade chocolates. While they're talking, Marina, the Russian friend, tells them that the size of the gift doesn't matter as much as the quality, after which Ichika looks at her melons and says that she's right, making Marina feel really offended. After many hours, the friends finally manage to finish their gifts for their siblings. Ruri says that she has tried to give her brother chocolates on several occasions, but he has refused to accept them, forcing her to hit him in hopes that this time it will be different. After taking a bath, Ichika returns home, but is unable to wait until the day is over and Valentine's Day arrives. That's why she gives the chocolate to Tomoya right away. He accepts it, but regrets it when she tells him that she put her favorite ingredient in it, which doesn't go with chocolate. When Valentine's Day finally arrived, Mitsuru and Tomoya expected to have a lot of presents, but no one gave them as many chocolates as they expected. Once the day was over, Hayasaka joined them and told them that Ruri forced him to be her friend, leaving him with no options. For that reason, he will accompany them to their houses. Before leaving, they went to change their shoes, realizing that Hayasaka's locker is full of chocolates, causing Tomoya and Mitsuru to declare that God has his favorites. Hayasaka, on the other hand, considers that putting so many chocolates in a locker is more than reckless, causing Fujisaki's confidence, who was behind them, to fade. She had planned to give them a chocolate each, but Hayasaka's was larger and more decorative, being a declaration of love rather than friendship. When they are dating, she gives them to him, nervous because she doesn't know if Hayasaka will accept it because he has too many. But he says yes, since she's Tomoya's friend. From a distance, it's clear that there's someone watching them, so she screams to alert everyone. But it turns out it was just Ichika dressed as a spy. When she uncovers herself to calm Fujisaki down, she takes the opportunity to tell him that her brother accepted her chocolates, causing Ichika to become furious, and they start fighting. In the end, Tomoya enjoys the chocolates he was given in his room. White Day has arrived, and now it's time for the boys to give their loved ones, sisters, mothers, and friends chocolates. The first girl Tomoya gives something to happens to be his sister, since she lives on the other side. This causes her to throw herself at him in gratitude, telling him that she also has something for him. After this, we see Fujisaki at school, opening his locker to leave his shoes. Here he sees that there are several gifts, less than what Hayasaka had, but he still takes the opportunity to feed his ego, until Hayasaka catches his attention to return the favor of the chocolates. She melts before him, thinking that it is the appropriate moment to declare her love to him. However, her nerves get the better of her, and she considers that it is better to do it another time. Just then, Tomoya arrives with a gift, and when he gives it to her, she cannot contain her excitement, turning around so that she is not seen. They both stare at her from behind, and Hayasaka says she's a special girl, while Tomoya says she's very cute. Then they analyze the situation and see that many young men declare their love for girls using these gifts, realizing that this is what happens to Ichiki, Marina, and Ruri. At the end of the day, Tomoya returns home and his sister arrives excited because some young men from her class gave her many gifts, although she doesn't understand the reason. She only kept them to share them with him. On a trip that Ichika's mother took, she took advantage of the fact that she had the house to herself to enjoy herself with Tomoya. However, he falls to the floor with a headache. Ichika immediately takes his temperature and sees that it is 37.9 degrees, causing her to quickly put him in bed and place warm cloths on his head. She is a little desperate since she doesn't know what to do, which is why she tries to call her mother. But she doesn't want to bother her by being away. This forces her to consult with Ruri and Marina, who immediately go to her house bringing her fruits to make light food and natural juices for Tomoya. While he is sick, Tomoya is a little delirious and believes that his mother is by his side taking care of him, but when he comes to, he notices that Ichika is kneeling, holding his hand and praying for him to recover, which happens, but now it is Ichika who is sick. Tomoya helps her recover with the help of her stepmother, who finally arrived from her long trip. And that's how this anime ends.